for other actors that are starting off on their journey and they're in a relationship and the sacrifice, what advice would you give them and how have you made it work?
Well, that's a great question, man. I think that's really important in this industry, in particular in this industry. For me, the magic has been this. Because it wasn't always that way. Like for quite a while, my wife and I were kind of almost competitive with each other, because it was like, well, who's got work, who's got opportunities, and we were like button heads, and it was a frustration a lot of times with each other.
Do you think it's competition or more pushing each other?
No, I think at the time it was kind of like it was being a little bit more selfish for each of us, And I think the big shift in our relationship, which has been a long time ago now, probably 15 years ago. We've been together 22 years. So
wow, congrats, man. That's beautiful.
Thank you. So the shift was probably about 15 years ago when I realized that she was more important to me than any of this other stuff, and that the way to keep her close to me was to be interested in what she was doing and what her dream was, and including her in mine. And so as soon as I started, and the same for her, as soon as I started going, hey, I have this thing, will you help me with it? I would love for you to be a part of it. It totally transformed our relationship, because it was like, as opposed to me having my stuff over here, and her having her stuff over here like this, it was like, hey, you're my team. If there's a team, if there is a team in life, it's my wife and kids. That's my team, And so why would I be like this? And so when I just laid the cards on the table, I was like, hey, so these are the cards I'm dealing with. What cards do you have? Let's see if we can make a full house here, And so between us both kind of approaching our relationship that way, I started to become so much more interested and passionate about her and her talent, and about doing work with her. And so we've collaborated on probably, at this point, probably 7 different projects over the years, and not always in the same hat. Like sometimes she's acting in it and I'm producing it, or she's producing and I'm acting in it, or we're both acting in it. And seeing her win, as opposed to it being, if you're in a relationship where I'm not even talking about a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or it could be a friendship, an acquaintance. If you see somebody winning, and your initial response is like, fuck, then you need to hip check yourself, because you're turned around, man. And by the way,
but you see there's so many actors in this business that are bitter that way. Like when they get an opportunity, or you get an opportunity and they didn't get it. Like I've always looked at them like, especially if it's my friends, as you said, family. If it's my friends, say we're going for the same role, and they get it, I'm happy for them, but it also motivates me, because, and especially being a black man in the business, when there's this small margin, it's like, okay, the way I look at them, like, you're opening a door that we didn't have before. And to me, it should motivate you and inspire you to say, okay, you know what, to stay hungry, because it's, as you know, like it's very hard at times, because, this business, I believe, it's a mental game more than anything. Because as I said, the rejection, I mean, I tell you, if you're in the business for making money, there's a lot easier job. Like there's a lot easier things you can do to make money than become an actor or whatever.
Buy some Dogecoin.
Exactly. But like for you, in the sense, like obviously, as I said, like having that, as you said in the beginning, that power struggle. How did you guys come to the balance medium?
Well, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for a while. But it was pretty magical. And I mean this, it was magical to The same with friends, because I'm not going to lie, I had friends. I think it's very human to kind of, like you said, go up for something that your friend is up for, right? And then they go on and book it, and it becomes like a big success, and they get the money and the notoriety and the sort of the thing that you're after.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating, right? And so how do you kind of like take that frustration and let it, like you said, motivate you, and at the same time go, but I'm fucking happy for my friend. And if you're not happy for your friend, then that's the work you need to do. And that's okay, by the way. We're all human beings. Like if you're not happy for your friend, it's okay, but
Mm-hmm.
look at it. Start analyzing it, because can you imagine if you win and you're fucking kicking ass, and your friend goes, "Hey man, how's it going?" And you're like, "Oh man, like I'm so, I don't even know what to do. Like things are just taking off. I'm so excited right now. Like I got this and I got that." And they're like, "Oh, oh, well, shit, man, good. That's great. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you." And you're like, "Whoa, this dude is like totally bummed out that I'm winning."
Mm-hmm.
And we all have
I get rid of
times
those
like
people,
that,
bro.
right?
I get rid of those people because to me it's
Me too.
I don't I it's energy, and it's like and I think we have this thing that people like they find in life that I always say, like, people are either going to make you grow or stay in the same place. And I think whoever you're around, if you're not growing, you're not learning. If you're not learning, you're not building. And I think it's comes to the point like when you get here and you got friends that are down here, it's almost the point where they expect you, like, you, some people just, they start feeling bad where they feel, okay, well, I've got to like go back down to make them feel comfortable. And I'm like, fuck them. Like, if I'm up here, you got to catch the fuck up. Like, I'm
Right.
not going to go back and lower. Like, I already went through that shit. And to me, as you said, there's no difference between, doesn't matter what job you're in or whatever. Like, it's a discipline to put in the work. And I think that's what I don't like now in the industry about social
Yeah.
media. Because for you, like, how do you deal now with the success that you've had now and people saying, "Hey Shane, put me on. Put me on. Put me on Power, put me on this, or give
Yeah.
me an opportunity." How do you deal with that?
Well, I try to be I don't answer everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I do try to answer most things. And I'll just be honest. I'll say, look, because those people just don't understand the way the industry works. Like the person who cast me in this movie, actually going back to what you were saying earlier, is because I played baseball, right? So I was really
Mm-hmm.
into baseball, and I was up for the movie 42,
Wow, wow,
and
okay.
I was close to getting it. I don't know how close, but I was in the mix, and it was going on for a while, like probably 6 weeks or so of back and forth. And Vicky Thomas cast it. Well, Vicky Thomas cast Power, and so she brought me in because she was like, "Oh, this guy's great." And I can't remember why I was telling you that. Why was I telling you that? I've been drinking too much, dude. You got
Hold that thought while you catch it. Guys, don't forget, if you're just joining us tonight, welcome to another edition of Sunday Service. I'm your host, Dteflon, on the MIC, Hot Topic, CELEBTV.com. Tonight, joining us in the building, the infamous, the legendary Shane Johnson, a.k.a. Cooper Saxe from the Power Series and Powerbook 2. If you guys have a question for Shane, please drop it in the comments below. You can follow me at DTEFLON and drop me a message, comments. You can also follow Shane on Instagram. You can find us on iHeartRadio. Don't forget, each and every Tuesday night, it's Hot Topics Radio TV After Dark, and every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Hollywood actors, directors, producers in conversation. Continue.
Man, you got that down. This is what I was going to say is that I just am honest. I'm like, look, that's not the way it works. Because my point in telling you the story about Vicky Thomas and the casting
Mm-hmm.
director is that I actually went and auditioned for Vicky, who's incredible and obviously has changed my life. I auditioned for her a couple years later for some other project, and I was like, "Hey, thank you so much for helping me get on Power." And she was like, "Oh, is that still on?" Like, she cast the pilot and she's moving on with her life. So
Hmm.
totally different casting directors. We've had like maybe 4 or 5 different groups of casting directors, right?
Okay.
And so for somebody to reach out to me and go, hey, I want to be on Power. I think I could this or that. It's like that's awesome, and I hope that happens for you. But I'm an actor too. Like I can't call up the casting director and say, hey, somebody reached out to me on Instagram and they said that they're right for this role. Like that never happens. That never happens. And what I can do is say, look, if you're serious about being an artist, about being an actor, I can turn you on to a path that can lead you to what you're after, which is why it's one of my things I'm really proud of is like there's recently, I studied with Richard Lawson.
Yeah, I was about to get into that next. Well, tell people about your
And
school, Richard Lawson Studios.
yeah, so I just recently turned somebody on to him, and then they didn't know anything about it, but they went and started studying with Richard, and they just booked their first TV show, right? And this is over the course of maybe 3 or 4 months. They
Hmm.
went from going, hey, how do I do this, to me going, please give these guys a phone call, let them know that I sent you because I'm part of the team, right? I'm part of this studio, and they'll look out for you. And now the person's working in the industry, and it's like, to me, that's so worthwhile. But to try to bypass the work and to try to bypass the system and just have somebody go like, here you go. It just really
Hmm.
doesn't work that way unless you're related to somebody that is producing something, then call them for sure.
But do you
But
feel like that? Do you feel it's a slap in the face when, like I get it all the time when people, what I find now, like we live in an era of entitlement. Like people feel that they're owed this, where you, me, and many of others who have gone through that journey have had to put in the work. We've had to get our ass kicked. We've had to get shit on. We've had to get, you know, dirt thrown in our faces. Do you feel that it's a slap in the face when there's people that either A, want to bypass it, or you see people that are bypassing it because now, as you know, as you said, like the business is not, it's not even about talent anymore. It's about fucking social media numbers. How many followers do you
yeah,
have? How many likes do you have? And I'm like, I don't give a fuck how
yeah,
many likes you have. Like to me, like likes and followers, unless you've got $1 million in the bank from those million followers, it means nothing. So how do you deal now with the industry, as you know, changing with, especially even now COVID times where, as you said, before there was over 500 different productions out there. Now things have gotten smaller. And now you're seeing, obviously, when we started, there was daytime, there was prime time, and then there was motion picture film. And you sort of, you have to make a choice.
yeah.
Either I'm going to go into daytime, I'm going to go into prime time to hopefully lead me to film. But now it's like
And
you're seeing
commercials, right?
and commercials. And now you're seeing like the biggest names in the industry. Take, for example, your show that are now coming on these primetime shows
Yeah,
and taking away, like, for example, like if a Denzel Washington wanted to be on Power, he could be on fucking Power. But then that means for the other actor
yeah.
who's on the grind is probably not even going to get seen or called because Denzel wants to be in the movie. So, like, for you, have you ever been in a position where, like, you wanted something but didn't get it, and it was taken by somebody that you felt that either wasn't deserving or didn't earn it or wasn't even as good?
I mean, I have felt that way so many times in my career. I mean, not in the last decade because I just have moved off of that. That's kind of when I was younger, I would go up for something that I was really passionate about, and I was just like filled my heart with like, oh my God, this is happening, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I remember, here's an example of one. I was up for this thing on the West Wing, and I was like, oh shit, this is happening, and it was feeling like it was going to happen, right?
Okay.
And it was a great arc. And then at the last minute, that Matthew Perry stepped in and was like, "Oh, I want to do it." And so
Okay.
Matthew Perry got it, and then he got nominated for an Emmy for it, right? And I'm like,